Hello, this is Glade. It is Wednesday, April 15th, and I decided I'd better come out in between storms. Kind of got a little break for a day between some storms coming through, and the next one's supposed to be pretty cold. So I thought I'd better get out and check these new hives that I just set up and make sure that the queens have been released. I checked a few of the nukes at my house, and out of the 12, there were 3 that hadn't released the queen out of her cage yet. So I released the queens just manually and let them out. They seem to be okay. Hopefully they accept the queen. There's a few of them that made some queen cells, so I'm a little leery as to if they're going to accept those queens very well or not. But hopefully they do. They seem to as I release them. So I'm hoping I don't have that situation here with these, but we'll find out. I'm just going to get into them, make sure the queens are out. I think because of the amount of brood that I put on these hives, I think I may add another box to them. They had 6 frames of brood and a frame of food and a foundation frame and then a feeder that takes up 2 slots. So they don't really have a lot of room to grow, but I'm going to look at them. If I think they need another box, I'm going to give them another box, and I'm going to feed them a little bit more. I'm going to try to keep these 8 here fed pretty heavy, just so they can dry out some comb for me. So let's get into it and see what they're doing. All right, I'm not going to get too wild, I don't think. But I do want to make sure these queens have been released. See how they're doing. That's a good little hive. I'm probably going to give them some syrup and a pollen patty. Well, there's still a little bit of syrup in that feeder, not much. There is some in there. So let's get over here and find this queen cage. Okay, hopefully she's been released. And she has. Good. So let's take a little gander here and see if we can find her. I've still got some capped brood here that's going to emerge. Same on this side. Most of this is emerged out. Of course, I forgot to put on my glasses. I think there's eggs down in there. Well, I didn't see her on those frames. Let's try this way. There's some more capped brood that needs to emerge. Another side that needs to emerge. There's our queen. These white dot queens are a lot easier to see. Let's see if I can. There she is. Now she's running. Okay, I think I am going to add another box just because I know when these few last frames of brood emerge, they're going to have 3 or 4 more frames of bees, and they're going to be pretty packed. So I think I am going to give them a box, and I am going to give them a pollen patty. These aren't huge pollen patties, but they are fresh, so I think that'll keep them going during this cold spell that's coming up tomorrow. Normally when I put another box on, I'll pull 2 frames out and then move 2 frames up, but because it's going to get cold in the next couple of days, I don't think I'm going to do that. I'm going to let them stay nice and snug and clustered with each other. And we'll just leave them like that. And that can go back on. That one looks pretty good. Let's try the next one. Hopefully they're all that way. Well, I'm seeing eggs down in those cells, so I know the queen's been released. Last remnants of the pollen patty. Here's my queen cage. And yep, she's been released. And they've chewed out all the wax around that frame where the queen cage was at. These white duck queens are a lot easier to see. She's got all of that laid up again. Up there. And I see eggs down in there. And here she is. Big golden queen. Big old white dot. Perfect. Okay, so these guys are doing exactly what they're supposed to be. As you can tell, they're pretty packed. I knew they would be. I purposely made the nukes for these extra strong. Give them another pollen patty. And some more syrup. For whatever reason, these bees don't do well in these feeders. I need to find a float or something to put in there with them. Some sticks or something. Okay, let's give them another box. Well, I don't think I'll find too much difference between the rest of these four. Most of the queens have been released. In fact, so far they've all been released and are laying, and I'm just giving them some syrup because I'm giving them an extra box. I really want them to draw that box out, so they need all the syrup they can get, and that should hold them for probably 2 weeks before I come back and check them again. Hope your bees are doing well. It's tax day today, so I hope you got your taxes done. And hope you have a great day. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.